Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, arm drag.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, arm bar.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, Lamas covered, three-handle family Gradunzel.
Mamma mia!
And now, Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
Number 4, armbar.
I will never retire!
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Sunday, so you know what that means. That's right, it's time for All the Rest. It's the episode in the week where we sit down and we talk about everything that happened on wrestling TV that was not in WWE. Now, we have everything, of course, with an asterisk. We do our own Impact Zone show that takes place on Monday. That will come out tomorrow, where I sit down and talk with Jay about Impact. So that doesn't fit into All the Rest anymore. It used to, but the conversations just got too long. There's so much to talk about with Impact that we moved that to its own show. What we will talk about today is Ring of Honor. We will also talk about Lucha Underground. I also had a quick chat with Mikey about Triple A, because he watched Triple Mania this week. They had a live stream on Twitch of Triple Mania, and he has some things to say about that. So we're going to have a quick chat with Mikey about Triple A. But let's have a look at Ring of Honor TV for this week. So there's not a huge amount to talk about with Ring of Honor TV, but the show kicked off with Christopher Daniels and Jay Briscoe. Wow. Like, how are we having this match on Ring of Honor TV in 2018? This match could headline any Ring of Honor pay-per-view in the calendar. Let me say it again. Christopher Daniels versus Jay Briscoe. Wow. It was a really good match until Mark Briscoe slid in from behind and hit Christopher Daniels with a chair, causing the disqualification. So it wasn't a great match. I mean, it was a great match, but it wasn't a great match. It was just sort of starting to pick up. It was going to be a really good match. It was very exciting to see it on TV at all, but of course, it had to end with a bit of a dirty finish because they're not going to give that away. Did you really think they were going to give that away? No, they're going to save a singles match like that for pay-per-view, but those guys are having a tag team title match coming up soon, so that's one to get excited about for sure. It was really fun to watch. Now, moving on, we got some hype videos for next week. We're going to see Jay Lethal versus Jonathan Gresham in an Iron Man match. This is going to be one to watch. So Jay Lethal is one of my favorite grapplers of all time, personal stuff aside. I don't know where the ROH investigation into those allegations landed, so there's been no more news on that. But as a wrestler between those ropes, you can't argue the fact Jay Lethal is a very good wrestler. Jonathan Gresham, though. Jonathan Gresham is one of my favorite wrestlers at the moment. He works that limb manipulation style that you all know I love so much. He's very good at what he does. He is very much a pure wrestler, a wrestler's wrestler. And I'm really looking forward to this 30-minute Iron Man match. I don't know if they're going to get too many falls in this one. I think we may go very close to the button without getting a fall. I'm thinking Jay Lethal's going to come out on top. I'm not expecting Jonathan Gresham to get the huge upset here and get the Ring of Honor Championship on TV. But I really think it's going to be one to watch. So sign up for Fight TV. Use our promo code, that's ZEZ10, that's the letter O, 41. The code will be in the show notes. Sign up for Fight TV, and you can watch Ring of Honor TV for free every Tuesday, right before Monday Night Raw. We then get Silas Young making his way to the ring. He has a match against Flip Gordon. they do these picture-in-picture promos as they come out. Flips isn't very good. It was kind of generic, but Silas Young's was good. Silas is actually really... He's a veteran. You know, he's really confident on the mic. He's really confident in the ring. Silas Young's one of the best guys to watch in Ring of Honor. He declines the Code of Honor, and they go through the motions. They go through the match, and Flip Gordon pulls out what could be considered an upset victory. And after the match, Bully Ray comes out and punches him in the dick. Because that's what's happening now. This is treading water. It's doing the Monday Night Raw thing. We're just repeating spots. These spots have been happening on pay-per-views. These spots have been happening on Honor Club events. These spots have been happening on TV. It's getting a little old. Can we please just pull the trigger on fucking something with this Bully Ray storyline, please? Please, it's time for it to end. Put us out of our misery. We're sick of seeing this Bully Ray crap. Just get it over and done with. Put over whoever you need to put over, whether it's Colt Cabana, whether it's Flip Gordon. Please let it be Flip Gordon. Let there be something in this for him. The Bully Ray stuff needs to go. But that was the low light, really, of Ring of Honor, because the first match was really fantastic, and then what comes after is even better. So we get a promo from Marty Scurll, who congratulates Kenny King on embracing his dark side, but he says the villain is out for revenge, because of course Kenny King defeated Marty Scurll last week by getting his feet on the ropes. That's part of a larger story with Austin Aries, where Austin has kind of told Kenny King that he needs to, embrace the dark side a little more in order to really fulfill his potential. And then we get a promo from Kenny King talking about learning to do what is necessary. And he points out that, Ric Flair, look at Ric Flair, right? He's a 16-time world champion. And what do they call him? He's the dirtiest player in the game. He needed to be the dirtiest player in the game to get those 16 world championships. So what do I need to do to get one? It was a really good promo. Really good promo from Kenny King. Very excited to see where this goes. I'm hoping it leads to an Austin Aries Kenny King tag team. It would be really fun to see them go up against Dem Boys, take on the Briscoes, or SCU if they have the straps at that point for the tag team titles. I would really like to see Aries and King as a team, but I wouldn't expect it to last too long, but it would definitely be fun while it lasts. And then we got the main event. Nick Aldis joined Ian Riccaboni and Colt Cabana on commentary for this one, because, of course, it included his opponent for All In, which is taking place right now. If you're listening to this on Sunday morning, this comes out at Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on the dot. That means All In is underway. Why are you listening to this? I hope you've already watched All In. If you haven't, listen to this quick little message about Fight TV and then close this app and go open Fight TV. Sign up with the promo code ZEZ1, letter O41. Sign up with that promo code. Get yourself $15 credit. Buy All In, okay? Watch All In, and then come back and listen to this after. All right, we're going to drop an All In review cast as soon as we can. We're going to, obviously, today is also Father's Day. So after we watch All In, we're all going to be doing our respective Father's Day duties and what have you. And I'm going to take my kids out to the park, maybe out to the zoo. We're going to have some fun. But then, hopefully tonight, we're going to do it. Maybe, if not, it'll be Monday or Tuesday. But definitely keep an eye out for the All In cast part 2, where we break down the card. If you haven't heard the All In cast, where we previewed the card, go back and listen to that one as well. It was a lot of fun. It was very hard to put together because there's 4 of us and there's 4 voices, and it gets chaotic sometimes. But I think we managed pretty well. I digress. We're talking about Ring of Honor right now, not All In. It's just very exciting. I'm very excited for All In, and it's taking place right now. Don't listen to this. Go watch All In. Okay. I should really stop telling you to not listen to me, right? I should want you to listen to me, but wrestling. Moving on. The main event was the Elite, that is Cody and the Young Bucks, taking on the Kingdom, Matt Taven, TK O'Ryan, and Vinny Marseglia for the ROH World 6-Man Tag Team Championships. And they won! It was an upset victory. They actually got the win. I mean, I don't know if you could call it an upset, right? Because even on commentary, they acknowledged that maybe the Kingdom are really the underdogs going into this match. It built a lot of momentum for these 3 guys going into All In. But I just didn't expect them to win. I was really enjoying the Kingdom's reign. I talk about how there's not really any challenges. I mean, now the Bullet Club have the straps. It was a very exciting match. Lots of big spots. Bernard the Business Bear gets involved. Brandy gets involved, hits a massive crossbody off the top to the outside, taking down everyone except Matt Taven. It was a really fun match. Definitely worth the watch. A solid standing O for sure. One of the best matches of the wrestling week so far. So that's it for Ring of Honor. It was a really good show this week. I mean, with the exception, of course, of the Bully Ray nonsense. Stop the Bully Ray nonsense, Ring of Honor. Give us more of the six-man tag stuff. Build up some more six-man tag teams. I'd really like to see some six-man tag team matches that build that division a little more. Disappointed there was no Women of Honor on this match. We should really be seeing some more Women of Honor stuff too. They've been building the division a lot more lately, which is really good. Very excited to see. But that does it for Ring of Honor TV this week. Now let's talk about Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground this week was a really solid episode, so it actually kicked off with, as it always does, a recap video to open the show. It got me thinking that Jake Strong was somehow going to get involved in the wedding, because the way they played the recap video, it looked like Jake Strong was linked to the Johnny Mundo stuff, and I was like, oh, what's going to happen here? So I was really intrigued for what was going to happen later in the night. That didn't end up happening, just so you know, but I was really happy with the way the wedding played out, but we'll get to that. After the recap video, we start backstage with Worldwide Underground preparing for the wedding. Jack Evans says that tonight is a special night because Johnny says I do, and he is going to make Exolicious kiss his ass until he says no mas. I know it rhymes, but it just seems like a really weird thing to threaten to do to your opponent in what is essentially an I Quit match, to make them kiss your ass. I mean, seems like something Rikishi would do, not something that Jack Evans would do, but I digress. PJ Black then says that they have a surprise for Johnny, and it's Joey Mercury. Joey Mercury's in the temple in Lucha Underground. He's billed as Joey Wrestling, and it gets Johnny Mundo very excited to see Joey wrestling here, and he's like, you're going to be my best man. And so they demote Ricky to ring bearer, and they say that the doll can be Flower Girl, and this obviously upsets Ricky Mundo, and there's been tension there simmering, so it's very interesting to see how that plays out. This cutscene's really well done. The way they play off each other, it just really, really works. It's really exciting to see. I think Ricky and Johnny, this is going to be the start of big things for Ricky, what's happening here. So they demote Ricky to ring bearer, and they all air guitar, but they're like, Ricky, not you, because Ricky tries to air guitar with them. They're like, not you, and they take the air guitar off him, and they give it to Joey, and then they all riff and they leave. And I love the way that Lucha Underground do this. So when they air guitar, like, the sounds actually play, and when they take the air guitar off Ricky, like in post, in editing, they put in a sound of like a guitar being unplugged. It was really fun stuff. And then Ricky is sort of left there fuming, just all angry at them for the way they treat him. And Rosa, that's, for those who don't know, Rosa is his doll, and he found her on the island of dolls, and she's incredibly creepy, and she's been whispering in his ear, getting him to do creepy shit. So it's kind of a weird, it's a typical Lucha Underground story. It's high strangeness, high sci-fi, high fantasy, high everything. It's almost like the people who write it might be a little bit themselves. No, I kid. She tells Ricky that she hopes he's planning on keeping his vows to her. Ominous music plays. It's like, oh, what has he promised Rosa that he's going to do? Matt Striker and Vampiro welcome us to the show as Metalachi play, as they always do. They hype up the wedding, they recap the Jack Evans and Exolicious feud, and say they're going to have a no mask match. And then Famous B is our announcer again, because Melissa Santos last week obviously suffered an attack at the hands of Katrina with a vase smashed over the back of the head. Is she in the land of the dead? Is she halfway? Because she has that Piedra Immortale. We don't know yet, but I'm really excited to find out where that one's going. So Melissa Santos is out, and Famous B is in. He is doing the ring announcing for this episode as we carry on that story with Melissa Santos being gone. That was my point. So Famous B is doing the ring announcing now as we go to our first match, Jake Strong versus Drago. So Jake tries to ground Drago. Drago uses his martial arts, strikes, and speed to counter Jake's power game. They fight outside the ring for a while. He sends Drago into the crowd, hits his Vader bomb, locks on the ankle lock, gets the win, right? It was a pretty short match. I thought this was probably Jake Strong's most competitive match so far, but I still think Drago could have gotten in a little bit more offense to make him look a little bit more of a bigger deal. But I get that they're putting over Jake Strong in a big way, so kind of makes sense that they want him to be really dominant. So he locks on the ankle lock, gets the win. Then he goes for Drago's nunchucks, comes back, locks the ankle lock on again with the nunchucks to break the ankle. Then Aerostar comes out for the save. Super Friends. Super Friends are going to be taking on Jake Strong, it looks like. So whether Jake Strong's going to find a partner, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a 2-on-1 situation, which always makes me feel a little queasy. I don't like it when you have a tag team, especially an established tag team, taking on one person. That person shouldn't stand a chance, logically speaking, but Jake Strong's been built up, so we'll see what happens. I'm not too keen if this is all just to put over Jake Strong some more. I'd really like to see the Super Friends get some victories because they're an amazing team. This is a literal dragon and a literal time-traveling space alien. I mean, come on. How are they not at the top of the card? I don't even know. Alright. Moving on, we get the Jack Evans and Exolicious No Mas match. So no mas, of course, meaning no more. The whole goal of this match is to make your opponent say, no more, no mas, no mas. It's an I Quit match. You basically want to get them to I Quit. You have the microphone and you get them to say no mas. Jack Evans starts the match by telling him he's the inventor of modern lucha, and someone like Exolicious has no business being in the ring with him. Throughout the match, he says stuff like, you shouldn't even be wrestling, and Exo gets very emotional, starts calling Jack a bully. This was fantastic. Now, if you go back and listen to our This Month in BritRes episode that I did with Akil, the heel, we talked about the nuances in these sorts of storytelling. So we were talking about the Sam Adonis situation that took place in RevPro, where he was calling people in the crowd homophobic slurs. And he referenced a story that took place with Jack Sexsmith and Zach Gibson, where Zach Gibson told him he didn't belong, and it was never said explicitly, but it was kind of implied it was because he was sexually frivolous, morally ambiguous. We get the same sort of deal here. It's implied that the problem Jack Evans has is with Exolicious's flamboyance, his joie de vivre, but it's never said. It's never explicitly said, you look like whatever, or it's more subtle, and it is more of a, you don't belong here, what are you doing here? Get out of here. I'm going to kick your ass for being different. And Exolicious, he gets real emotional, he calls him a bully, he sort of snaps, he's getting beaten down on the outside of the ring. When they return to the ring, Exo gets control, because that's in the element that he understands, it's the wrestling ring. He turns a booty choke into a short pile driver, which was beautiful. Jack ends up setting Exolicious up on a chair, says he's going to snap his neck. Joey Ryan comes out and tells him that this is too far. Joey Ryan is, of course, his tag team partner in Lucha Underground at the moment. At least he has been a few times. And then Ivelisse pulls him to safety, pulls Exolicious to safety, and Exo ultimately wins with an armbar. It was a really good story. The way they told it with Exolicious getting really emotional and needing to overcome his bully by just doing what he does best in wrestling, it was really, really touching. And then the final moments were just as touching. So Joey is sort of trying to help him up, and Ivelisse is really standoffish, like don't go with Joey sort of thing. And Joey's like, no, we're on the same team. We're on the same team. Like, that's ridiculous. We're on the same. I'm with you. And he raises his hand, and it's just this whole, it's okay to be different. I know that sounds cliche and lame, but the way this was done was actually really beautiful. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend watching this episode of Lucha Underground for the whole episode, but this specifically I found really beautiful. It's not going to be a match of the year contender by any stretch, but it was a really good story-driven match and definitely worth a watch. Backstage then, Jack Evans is crawling past the wedding party, and they're like, put on your tux, and he doesn't respond, and PJ's like, look, it looks like he's going to miss the wedding. So Ricky asks if he can have his job, so he doesn't have to carry these rings, because, and Johnny's like, the rings aren't stupid, you are, which, Johnny Mundo has a real 6th grade sense of humor. You are. And it's fantastic when he does it. It's ugly when I do it, but when Johnny Mundo does anything, it's fantastic. So then, of course, they do some more air guitar with Joey wrestling and PJ, and then Ricky just looks angry as they walk away, and Rosa tells him it's time to do the job I asked you to do. We cut to the ring, and Famous B introduces himself as the minister, takes the opportunity to plug his ministerial services. You too can get married by Famous B, and for a small relative, of course it flashes on the screen, small is relative, for a small fee, Dr. Wagner and Tejano appear at your wedding as well. All you have to do to book this amazing package with Dr. Wagner, Tejano, and Famous B as your minister is called 423 Get Fame. That's 423 Get Fame. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love Famous B. Wrestling needs more managers. I want Famous B to get a big contract. I want him to be on every show. I want him to be all over the place. Famous B is a fantastic entertainer. Definitely worth checking out. We then get the wedding party intros. So PJ Black comes out. He's billed as the best-ish man. I thought that was funny. He's the best-ish man. And then Joey Wrestling is the bestest man. I thought that was great. Johnny Mundo, of course, is the mayor of Slamtown. Taya comes out, First Lady of Slamtown. She's accompanied by her bridesmaid cheerleader Melissa and the maid of honor, Beautiful Brenda. Beautiful Brenda shone throughout this segment too, just with her reactions to everything that was going on. Just being like, oh, he's cute, but I don't like his doll. It's dirty. Like, just everything. Everything Beautiful Brenda did here was fun. The lime green of the wedding party, they're all wearing lime green tuxes and the ropes were lime green and stuff. And it was a little overpowering, but Taya looked gorgeous. Like, her dress, her whole getup was fantastic. Yeah, I mean, you don't tune in to listen to fashion stuff, but it was a really nice looking outfit for Taya. It was like wrestling gear, but and then she had extra stuff on as well, because obviously later and she would wrestle. We'll get to that. We go to an ad break, and then Ricky is backstage after the ad break. He's lurking somewhere he shouldn't be, and Rosa tells him to just do it. Give them a gift they'll never forget. She eggs him on, and he uses a bolt cutter to open the door to Matanza's lair. He set Matanza loose on the wedding day. That is not a wedding gift anyone wants. That Matanza's going to come out there, he's going to sacrifice people. This is going to be ugly. This is going to be terrible. I'm terrified at this point. We got back to the ring, and Famous B asks if anyone knows why these two fine-ass people should not be married. Antonio Cueto comes out, and he says, it's okay, I'm not here to object. Unlike my son, I actually like you two, and I want to give you a gift before you make it official. He says ring the bell, which was a little weird. I thought maybe they're setting up something here for Matanza as a sacrifice. They ring the bell, and they bring out tacos. Tacos for everyone. He congratulates them, and he leaves. And then Taya and Johnny say their vows. You know, Taya tells him that she loves him more than fluffy puppies and beheading snakes. That's a dig to when she beheaded Vibora, of course. She doesn't actually like to behead snakes in real life. It's a Lucha Underground thing. Then Johnny says that he never thought he would meet anyone as tan, ripped, and as attractive as he is, but he found Taya, and he loves her more than his own reflection, which is really saying something really sweet. They do their vows, they exchange their rings, and Famous B asks them if they do, and of course they both do. Ricky and Rosa come out, they exchange rings, they do all of that, and then they tell Ricky to get out of the ring. They're being mean to Ricky again, and he goes and he sits in the crowd, and Famous B says, I now pronounce you man, and holy shit, what the hell is that? It's Matanza. Matanza comes out and he just breaks everything and destroys everyone. He puts PJ Black through one of the taco tables, which gets a not the tacos chant, which is, you know, you're never going to hear a not the tacos chant again. That was amazing. And then we get a not the cake chant when he puts Taya through the table with the cake on it. Taya actually fires up. She got busted open. She fires up and beats into Matanza a little before he hits her with Wrath of the Gods and then puts her through the table. Essentially, Matanza just takes out everyone and then leaves, and there's carnage everywhere, and Ricky Mundo is laughing hysterically as we go off the air. And that was Lucha Underground this week. It was a really good episode. Like I said, really touching stuff with Exolicious and Joey Ryan and Jack Evans and that whole story. It's really weird that they're keeping Jack Evans so far away from Worldwide Underground. I don't know if the tapings were like weird and they weren't actually in the ring at the same time. I have no idea, but Jack Evans has been separate to the entire Worldwide Underground stuff. I don't know if that's going to come into play later. Originally it was because he's not a fan of snakes, but why wasn't he involved in the wedding more? I mean, I guess, yeah, he got beat down, but I don't know. It just seems weird to me that he's been so separate for the entire season from Worldwide Underground, and I think that that's going to come around to be something. I thought it was also weird that Matanza didn't try to sacrifice anyone. He just threw everyone out of the ring and put them all through tables when his whole bag lately has been sacrificing. The bell had rung, so you would think that there was going to be an opportunity for him to sacrifice someone, maybe Joey Wrestling, you know, maybe he was just there for the one night for the wedding, maybe Taya, maybe that's how you get some real emotional weight behind Johnny's next quest. I don't know, it felt a little flat, like it ended, it was kind of anticlimactic, like there was a big climax and then it just fell off. But overall, it was a really good episode still, and I definitely recommend checking out this week's Lucha Underground. Now let's cross to my chat with Mikey talking about Triple A, and then I'll hit you after that with This Week in Wrestling News. Joining me now to talk about Triple A's Triple Mania, Big Boy Mikey. How are you, Big Boy?
Good, buddy. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm actually still laughing because I just got through watching the highlights of Triple Mania. You messaged me and said you wanted to talk about this because you sat down and watched the entire 4 hours.
Yeah, look, 4 hours of my life that I'm not getting back anytime soon. No, look,
Oh, wow.
I'm going to dive really into it in a second. I just want to point out there, like, okay, so a lot of people might know me as being obsessed with either the Australian or Japanese scenes or American, but a big part of me that I've always been obsessed with is Lucha Libre, and I love everything to do with Lucha Libre. I love when it's a hair versus mask match, or if it's CMLL's 6-man 2 out of 3 falls tag match series.
Yeah, do lots of
that.
trios matches and stuff, right?
Yeah. So, like, I've been watching a few highlights of the promotion, The Crash, which is a kind of it's in between AAA and CMLL. It's a little bit more modernized. AAA is very... I call it the Mexican Impact. And CM...
Well, I mean, AAA was kind of like more WWE style, right? Like, it's more sports entertainment, more angles and stuff. CMLL is more sports focused. Yeah. Like, it's more...
Well, CML is
fighting, yeah.
Exactly. CMLL is, the American buddy, the Mexican buddy of Japan. Like, it's very,
Yeah, so they have working arrangements with New Japan, they have working arrangements with Ring of Honor, with RevPro, all that sort of stuff. So they're in that little family, yeah.
Yeah. There's not many of the New Japan roster that hasn't done a excursion in Mexico. So, yeah, look, I'm going to get stuck into AAA in a second. Yeah. First off, so how much of the highlights have you seen?
Well, so basically I watched a clip that was everything that's wrong with AAA Triple Mania 26. So it was lots of like little like booking things, like LA Park being involved in 3 matches in a row. Just the referees, the referees, wow. And the announcing and the production stuff, it was really bad. Like, everything I saw was all the botches, obviously. So it's probably not a proper... Because the thing is, too, I know that AAA have a lot of talent. Like, because AAA share a lot of talent with Lucha Underground and, of course, by extension, Impact as well. And I watched a few AAA shows back, like I'm talking like 2015 or 2016, to see Ryan Rollins, or Australian Suicide, as he is known over there. I watched some shows to watch him specifically, and I really enjoyed what they were putting out back then. And looking at this, I mean, like I said, I only watched this 20-minute clip, so I don't have a full context. But looking at this, I was like, how is this the same company? It was really bad.
Well, yeah. So, yeah. Well, that's the part that, is very dumbfounding to people. AAA is the... what do you call it? It's not the parent company of Lucha Underground, but it is the predecessor to Lucha Underground as such. Like, Lucha Underground.
Well, they let Lucha Underground use their talent, yeah.
Right? And there's a big relationship between AAA and Lucha Underground. It's something to do with booking or talent, producing or whatever. I can't exactly remember what it is, but there's a relationship there. The difference, even in the commentary. So my first gripe I want to talk about with Triple Mania is the commentary. It's outstandingly frustrating that Matt Striker and Vampiro are so good at Lucha Underground, and holy shit, they pissed me off through this show.
Well, see, I don't think they're that good on Lucha Underground. To be honest, like, the team of Matt Striker and Vampiro annoy me at the best of times. I sort of put it to the side for Lucha Underground because I enjoy the stories that are told in the ring and in the cutscenes and stuff. So I kind of put it to the side of, like, everything else about the show is great, but the commentary is like, yeah, take it or leave it. Like, I don't really care. They have moments where they do good work on Lucha Underground, but yeah, I think watching them do this live, it was very clear that you can tell, obviously, they do a lot of stuff in post on Lucha Underground and fix things up, because the commentary was the worst aspect. It was the main focus, I think, of this botch video. Although Matt Striker, to be fair to Matt Striker, he did everything he could to cover for the multitude of mistakes and ridiculousness. So at one point, Vampiro is set to interfere in... I couldn't tell if it was a match or an angle, but Vampiro is set to interfere. And he stands up at the commentary booth, and he's asking the production team in Spanish to play his music, because he doesn't want to interfere until his music plays. And then he just gets angry. He's just like, play my fucking music. Where the fuck is my music? Like, what the hell? And then the music plays, and then he takes off the headset and gets it. And it's like, everyone knew what was going on already, man. Like, but Matt Striker's like, oh, Vampiro, an absolute professional. He won't get up until his music plays so that the people in the arena know that he's had enough. And I was like, look, you're doing a good job trying to cover, but that was so bad.
Yeah, look, yeah, I should say that as well. Matt Striker, I like Matt Striker. Probably one of my new favorite promotions in the pro wrestling scene is Major League Wrestling. I find that promotion to be one of the most entertaining independent promotions in the world. And Matt Striker...
Yeah, and he's doing stuff with Tony Schiavone on MLW.
That's perfect, because Tony Schiavone is, in my opinion, my favorite lead commentator of all time, only because I'm a WCW fanboy from back in the day, and just hearing his voice,
and they do well together. They do well together, but I think it's Vampiro. I think Vampiro is the problem.
Right, Vampiro is...
It was so weird.
Yeah.
Like, him picking on Matt Striker for finding the camera. Like, you're meant to find the camera.
Yeah.
The camera was doing the wrong thing. Like, they should have had a separate camera for each team, but instead they have a camera just focusing on the Spanish announce team. So Matt Striker just turns his head so that he can talk to the camera as well. You should be doing that. But then there's Vampiro making fun of him for it, just being like, oh, you're such a child star. You're probably one of them Me Too kids. What was that? I don't even know where to start on Vampiro, man. Just apparently throughout the show, he just kept getting up and, like, shaking hands with wrestlers and talking to people and not even doing his job. It's so insane.
He gets away with it because in AAA, especially in Mexico, he's a bit of royalty. Amongst the millions of famous Mexican wrestlers, how he got that much fame is beyond me. Like, I know he's had a really good career in Mexico and all that, but
you know what? I loved Vampiro in WCW too, with the mist and the face paint and, you know, his stuff with ICP. Like, I was a fan. Yeah. Like, I know a lot of people consider ICP and whatnot wrestle crap, but I was a fan, man. I liked that stuff. So I liked Vampiro, and so I don't mind that he's still treated like this legend or whatever, but this was bad. Yeah. This was real bad.
Yeah, that was bad. Like, look, all credit to them, because they did go with Twitch for the first time. And look, AAA, just for any Lucha Libre people who are getting into Lucha Libre and want to watch promotions like AAA or CMLL, or, you know, if you want to expand from Lucha Underground or whatever, AAA is the most famous company in Mexico. They're not the oldest. CMLL...
Yeah, they're the only ones offering English content.
Right,
as well.
CMLL is the oldest pro wrestling company, period, in the world. They opened their doors in like 1932, I think it is. So they have the history. AAA had the boom because of sending guys like, you know, they had guys like Rey Mysterio, Eddie, Hoovy in the 90s that went on to ECW, WCW, and gave them a lot of American eyes onto them.
Yeah, like a lot of cachet with the Western fans.
And in no part thanks to Mr. Mike Tenay, who used to be WCW color commentator or expert commentator, who used to highlight AAA a lot through that. So Triple Mania, this is Triple Mania 26. Yeah, 26. I'm not too sure what the official crowd is, but the crowds are very borderline like WrestleMania crowds. It's a huge freaking stadium, and it's packed to the rafters. No matter how tortured the product might end up being by the end of the night, the Mexicans still love it. Like, they're not shitting on it. It's the Americans. And
it did seem like the crowd was still having a good time, but some of the spots. So moving on from the commentary and stuff, we'll speed up a bit. We've got about 5 more minutes. Is probably the max I want to do. But Moving on from the commentary gaffes and Vampiro just being weird, was just the refs was the other big one. Like, refs are like breaking counts before the wrestlers actually break. So, like, you know, you're in a pinfall and the tag partner's supposed to come and drop kick you off the pinfall or whatever, but the tag partner doesn't, and the referee just stops counting anyway because he knows it's not the finish. Never do that. As a referee, you count. And if the wrestlers fuck up, then there goes the match. That's their fault. But you don't, like, you make the entire thing look bad when you stop counting because you know that this person's not meant to win. It's really, really gross. It was so hard to watch. That happened multiple times. Multiple times. Sometimes the refs didn't even get down for the pins.
Right, and...
Like, what's going on?
And what way to stereotype your own nationality than having dodgy refs and, like, being paid off by dodgy company, like, dodgy stables. Like
was that an angle? The referees were dodgy. Is that?
Yeah, the referees are dodgy as an angle. It's a heel referee who does, he's paid under the counter in.
Okay. So the referee breaking the count wasn't bad refereeing. It was part of a story.
Yeah. But it's overplayed.
Okay. See,
it's over.
But the commentary didn't seem to put that over from the highlights I saw. Again, I'm working off highlights, so I have incomplete information.
No.
Did the commentary put it over?
No. Vampiro did, at least. I think he actually did put it over, but they didn't give it justice. But to be fair, AAA overdid it with that. Like, the same refs. The main event and also the women's mask versus hair match.
And so that's why the referee came out and they had a bit of referee on referee action?
Yeah.
Okay, because that didn't make sense to me. It just looked like crazy Mexicans.
Yeah.
Like, you expect crazy... Like, you could make clips of, like, DDT over in Japan and be like, crazy Japanese wrestling doing crazy Japanese things. You don't expect that from AAA, from Lucha Libre.
No.
I don't know. It was odd. And so I'm glad to hear that the referee thing was actually part of a story and not just complete and utter incompetence, because it looked like incompetence.
It's like Triple H paying off the referee for the Survivor Series match or whatever. That sort of stuff. Like, it's all, stables within, because Mexico is famous for like 20, 30-man stables. They're always paying off each other. They're all linked together and all this shit. So, but yeah, so the last gripe that I have. So before I move on to my last gripe, I just want to give one positive shout out that Triple H need to realize that they have an awesome amount of talent there that's young, that's hungry, that is exciting. Start bringing some of it up. You got guys like Bandito, you got Flamita, Aerostar, Drago, Laredo Kid, DJZ, even LA Park's son, Hijo de la Park, whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of young guys.
El Hijo de la Park. That would be the son of La Park. No, they have a lot of really good talent.
Yeah, they do. And
that's why this was so weird to see.
That's right. And, okay, a big thing in Mexico is honoring tradition and honoring the legends. And that's fine. But, okay, so the last two matches, you had Lady Shani defeat Fabio Pache in a mask versus hair match. So, a very famous side of Lucha Libre is, I never get this right, Luchas de Apuestas, I think I get that right, which is hair versus mask, or hair versus hair, or mask versus mask, whatever. And, it's a very big tradition.
Right, it's when they gamble a part of them that is so important to them.
Right.
As part of their identity. Yeah.
Right. So, the Lady Shani versus Fabi Apache won. Or Lady Shani defeated Fabi Apache. She had her head shaved. That was good, but that match was so overblown with the ref stuff, and it was just that was frustrating. Then the main event. The girls' match was the third last match, and then the main event. You had the fatal 4-way cage, which I love the match idea. 4 people start in the cage, 2 people will escape, and then the last 2 men have a one-on-one. I like that. That's a great idea. I love the idea. And this had El Hijo.
Yeah, it's similar to one that's It's kind of similar to one that's happening in New Valhalla soon in the Valkyrie division, which I talked about on the Aussie Grats episode. So it's kind of similar, but obviously that one's not going to take place in a cage. But anyway, so carry on.
Yeah. So this was LA Park, El Hijo del Fantasma. For those Impact fans, I'm pretty sure he was in Impact for a while there, was he? El Hijo? Purple,
yes.
purple and white guy?
Yeah, Phantasma, yeah.
Pentagon Jr. and Psycho Clown. So four faces. They were all four face guys. Phantasma sort of played the heel through the match, but by the end of the match...
Just a note as well, Phantasma is King Cuerno in Lucha Underground.
Yes, there you go, yes,
as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you got Pentagon Jr., probably the hottest talent in the world right now, not named Kenny Omega, and they face each other in a couple of days. And Psycho Clown, who's kind of a bit of a hardcore guy, but he's fun in the same way. And then you have the legendary LA Park. So Pentagon and Psycho managed to escape, leaving LA Park versus Del Fantasma. Both legendaries who have families backing, 6 decades of Lucha Libre in Mexico. And getting a mask is it's probably more important than titles in Mexico. So LA Park, spoiler alert, LA Park won this and defeated El Hijo Fantasma and managed to unmask Phantasma. Well, not managed to, but Phantasma did it at the end and as part of the rules. It was a beautiful moment. Like, that part was fantastic. Before the match, LA Park brought Pierre Jr. out, who's in a wheelchair. He was the original LA Park from the 70s or 80s. He gave La Parka his La Parka thing. He was also a big part of Villano 3, who, rest in peace, in the last couple of weeks, was very, very involved in this night. They had his wife there with the urn and stuff. So there was a lot of great moments towards the end of this night.
Yeah. Phoenix crashed into her.
Right, yeah.
So,
but yeah, so look, it was a great moment. LA Park managed to get the masks. They actually shook hands in the ring. Phantasma's dad, the original Phantasma, who's still masked, never unmasked, was there in the crowd. Like, he was there to witness it. And even El Hijo's son came in the ring, who in probably 30 years' time will probably be wearing Phantasma mask as well and whatnot. But yeah, so it was a great moment. I wish they just left it at that. I don't know what their TV schedule like. I don't know that they have TV, once a week in Mexico. CMLL are on YouTube 4 nights a week, 4 different shows. I can't keep up with it. AAA, I'm not too sure what their programming schedule is and why they couldn't leave this for another night. But they had the return of Dr. Wagner Jr., one of the biggest legends in all of Mexico, came out and cut a promo in LA Park to end the night to challenge each other for next year's Triplemania. It's like,
so instead of letting the moment breathe and letting it just have this beautiful show-ending moment, they kind of throw an angle at you and just kind of wreck it for the go-home, which is a little annoying. Yeah.
I was so frustrated. It was kind of like seeing a Rock, the 2 years in a row thing, and then they planned it a year in ahead. Everyone knew it.
Yeah.
But they left it to the night after. They let The Rock have his moment, and then the night after, I'm pretty sure they started with John Cena versus The Rock. I think, was it the John Cena challenged him for WrestleMania the day after? Something like that. But yeah, I just don't understand why they couldn't just let LA Park have his good moment. But yeah, look, Triplemania, I still recommend. You don't have to sit through 4 or 5 hours every year like I did. You can watch it on delay and maybe just cut through some of the shit if you need to, but it's still a big thing. And I hope Lucha Libre get it right. CML.
Look, I think, what I think? I think that AAA, I think someone somewhere was performing some brujeria, which is Spanish for witchcraft. Right? I don't... Because the show looked like a clusterfuck from top to bottom. But, there were some good bits in there. You'd recommend people skipping through it, or do you think just,
No, I'd say...
It's a lever.
I'd say, look, if you like a little bit of fast-paced, PWG, Lucha Underground type type feel. Go watch the ladder match. It was a 5 team tag team ladder match, number one contenders match. There was some awesome high fly. That's the match where oh no, that's not the match I was thinking of. Sorry, but that match there was awesome. High flying action at its finest.
Yeah, so there are some good bits for people to check out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all right, cool. Well, thanks for joining us to have a chat about Triple Mania, big boy. And I'll drop your socials in the show notes and all that stuff. So let's get on with the show and talk about the news for the wrestling week. Topping out the news for us Aussie fans, WWE have announced more matches for the Super-Showdown that takes place on October 6th at Melbourne Cricket Ground. For anyone listening, I want you to realise that this weekend, this October 6th weekend in Melbourne, is becoming kind of like a Wrestlemania weekend. So Melbourne City Wrestling do have a show on the night before on the 5th. Tickets are on sale now. It's $40 for general admission. It's at the Thornbury Theatre. It's called MCW New Horizons. It's going to be a fantastic show. We're expecting lots of crazy talent to be there because everyone's going to be in town for this big weekend. It's going to be exciting. Then the next day, Wrestle Rock at lunchtime. They're having a brunch show at midday at the Corner Hotel, a short walk from the MCG, so you can go out in the morning, check out some wrestling over lunch, go grab a feed, and head straight to the MCG for the big show. It's going to be a really, really good day, not just for WWE fans, but for Australian wrestling. So if you aren't too familiar with Australian wrestling and you are going to Melbourne for the WWE Super-Showdown, make sure you get tickets to these MCW and Wrestle Rock shows. Hopefully something gets announced for the Sunday as well. With all the talent converging, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to watch some great wrestling from both WWE and from our local guys. Now, with that said, let's have a look at the matches that were announced this week. We got Shield versus Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler. Obviously, that's playing into the recent heel turn from Braun Strowman. He allied himself with Drew and Dolph. It seems like a temporary alliance. I don't think it's going to become a faction or anything like that. But they're going to have a match. It's going to be a good match. It kind of takes the Universal title and the Intercontinental title out of contention, though, which means we're not going to get any title matches there, which is kind of disappointing. But, these things are subject to change, so you never know what's going to happen. Taking another title out of potential contention is Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins versus the Riot Squad. This one I'm more okay with because the Riot Squad are a highlight for me, and also Ronda and the Bellas have that little story going that's going to lead towards Evolution, so I expect the Bellas to turn on Ronda during this match. Melbourne Cricket Ground is not a great place for Ronda. I'm expecting him to play on that history. I think she'll probably get knocked out, get a kick to the face, something like that, to really play on her history in the venue, and Melbourne can become kind of like this cursed place for Ronda Rousey. I think that's going to be a really cool story to see happen live and in person. AJ Styles takes on Samoa Joe. This one was weird too because they have a match coming up at Hell in a Cell, so now we know that that match doesn't really mean anything because they've got another match just around the corner, so even if they resolve things, they haven't resolved anything because they have to have another match. A little odd. They could have waited till after Hell in a Cell to announce this one, I think. I don't think it was needed. Buddy Murphy, our boy, takes on Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight Championship. What a moment this one is going to be. It's going to tear the roof off the joint because Buddy Murphy is going to win. If he doesn't win, we riot. So definitely looking forward to WWE Super-Showdown. Like I said, it's going to be a fantastic weekend. Make sure if you see us, we'll be rocking the B+ shirts. Come up and say hi, shake our hand, buy us a drink. You know how it works. I'm kidding. You don't have to buy us a drink. We'll buy you a drink. Let's drink and talk wrestling in Melbourne at the WWE Super-Showdown or the MCW show or the Wrestle Rock show. It's going to be a really good weekend. We're looking forward to meeting some friends and just having a good time with wrestling all weekend. Now, in other WWE news, Velveteen Dream has been announced for 2 upcoming Evolve shows, Evolve 112 and Evolve 113, taking place in Maryland and New York. He will be facing Austin Theory on September the 7th and Darby Allin on September the 8th. I really love them doing these. Like Adam Cole defended the North American title at Evolve against Walter. It's a dark match. It doesn't make it onto the actual show, so what I see when I purchase it on Fight, I don't get to see these matches. But it's still really cool that they're working with the talent and This is really good for Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream's an absolute star, and Austin Theory and Darby Allin are two up-and-comers to keep an eye on. So those are going to be really good, and I'm really happy that Velveteen Dream's getting the opportunity to do that. Because he's a guy who came through tough enough and didn't work a lot of the indies. He worked the indies slightly before he'd trained and worked a bit, I think, from memory. But he came in through tough enough and went straight to NXT and all that sort of thing. So it's really cool to see him get out there and interact with these top-level indie talent. Now, rounding out the WWE news this week, Jason Sensation, who appeared throughout the 90s with little skits and things. He's the guy that impersonated Owen Hart with DX. He sent out a tweet from Monday Night Raw, well, allegedly from Monday Night Raw on Monday, claiming that this is a direct quote, "I got my gun through security and will shoot myself in the head and kill myself during tonight's Raw in Toronto. Don't you dare miss it. Thanks for the memories, WWE." Now, it was later revealed that this was a joke. It was a prank. Aren't jokes supposed to be funny? Like, what the hell? Who jokes about that? Like, that's a terrorist act, almost. That's insane. He was threatening to blow his head off on live TV in a crowd of people. Like, just let that sink in for a second. Who does that? Who finds that funny? Like, how is that a joke in any way? I mean, I'm of the belief that either everything's okay or nothing is, right? Like the South Park philosophy. Everything's okay to make fun of or nothing is. And I think, I'm going to get heat for this, but I think suicide could be funny given the right treatment. Like, if you ask Dave Chappelle to do a joke about suicide, I don't think that I wouldn't laugh at whatever he comes up with. He's a funny dude. I can't imagine what it would be. I'm not a funny person. I'm not going to be able to come up with something like that. But I'm just saying everything is okay to joke about or nothing is. So I'm not saying don't joke about it. But that wasn't a joke. That was a threat. I got my gun through security. I'm going to shoot myself in the head and kill myself. Where's the joke? There's no punchline. There's no setup. There's nothing. That's just a sad old man that everyone thinks he's going to hurt himself. Wrestling Twitter jumped into action, reporting it to the police, reporting it to WWE, reaching out to him like, "Hey man, there's people here that care about you. Don't do this." Vince Russo tweeted to him, "Don't do this. We love you. I hope you're not serious." And Wrestling Twitter jumped on it, and we found out in quite short order that it was all a hoax. He was apparently joking, and he's sorry. He didn't mean to cause anyone any harm or whatever. But seriously, man, get some help. Like, talk to someone, because that's if you're having thoughts that posting something like that on Twitter is okay, then there's some issues that you got to talk through. So that goes for anyone. Don't be afraid to talk to your friends. Don't be afraid to talk to your family. Don't be afraid to reach out to a therapist if you're having any kind of thoughts like that, because that was some next level stuff. I almost didn't even want to talk about it because I don't even know what to say, but it's a bit of a light week, and I'm trying to do this quickly because I have a lot of shows to get to this weekend. I have a lot of Father's Day activities and what have you, so a little behind the curtains. You hear this on Sunday, but I'm recording this on Friday, and I'm going to get through. So I've just picked a couple of news stories to cover. So let's move on and let's escape the world of WWE for a while and talk about all the rest. Let's have a look at some All-In news. All-In is the big one this week. We did an entire All-In preview cast. I've gotten a lot more theories since then. I really think WWE are doing some kind of work with All-In. If not legitimately, like with contracts and what have you, then at least they're doing what they can to build buzz and get eyes on All-In. Why? I wouldn't be able to tell you why. I would not be able to tell you why. I think that Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they hold all the chips come negotiating time with WWE. I think that WWE know that, and I think maybe WWE just throwing them a bone, just being like, let's build some buzz for them, because look at some of the things that are going on in the WWE universe right now. Daniel Bryan has yet to sign a contract. As I record this, it is the 31st. His contract expires tomorrow in Australian time, today in American time. His contract expires, and he could show up at All-In, theoretically. That's there. He could potentially show up at All-In, because we haven't had any news. I expected that to be the headline story on this podcast. Daniel Bryan signs contract. he hasn't. There's been zero news broken about Daniel Bryan's contract status. So, yes, he's advertised for Super Showdown, he's advertised for Hell in a Cell and all of that sort of thing, but there's no contract. In addition to that, Kevin Owens recently quit on Monday Night Raw. Where's that going? Could he end up at All In? Neville has not been on TV for 10 months, and tweets have started surfacing, and he allegedly is no longer under contract, and he could show up, and WWE aren't addressing this. All of this just feels like, here are these WWE guys that might end up at All In. How crazy would that be? And WWE is letting it all happen. Like, if they didn't want you to think maybe Daniel Bryan's going to go to All In, they would be like, no, he signed a contract. Like, he's ours. If, everything they're doing, it just looks to me like they're trying to help get eyes on All In. Like, there's that extra buzz because, could a WWE guy show up? I think it hurts All In, to be honest with you, because I think the whole idea is they can do this on their own. And then if you have, like, this little bit of WWE, whatever, even if it's not real involvement, even if it's just, it allows WWE to kind of be like, people were excited because they thought Daniel Bryan might show up. They thought Kevin Owens might show up. It's a little, I don't know how to feel about it, but it's interesting. There has possibly never been a more interesting time to be a wrestling fan. The Monday Night Wars, of course. I was a little kid, so I'd know, but yeah, it's a really interesting time to be a wrestling fan. Moving on, Joey Janela and Hangman Adam Page is now a Chicago street fight. We speculated that would happen on the All In cast. It has happened. The stipulation has been announced. That is going to be a war. We also got the announcement this week that New Japan will be airing All In, not live, but on demand. So a few hours after it finishes, it will be up on NJPW World for people to stream, which is very good news because a lot of people have NJPW World already, and it's a nice, easy way to get it, because obviously paying $60 for the show on Fight is not going to be an option for everyone. Paying $130 for a Ring of Honor Club VIP membership is not going to be for everyone. $10 a month or 9.99 yen is very doable, even if you just do it for this 1 month. Sign up, wait until September 1st. Well, when you hear this, it's already September 1st. So sign up now, and you can check out All In on demand after it finishes. It's going to be a fantastic show. Moving on from there, Terry Funk had to withdraw from Starrcast due to health issues. I hope he's okay. Get well, Terry Funk. We don't want to lose more. It's hard. It's hard. They're getting old, but yeah, definitely. We hope you get well, Terry Funk. Positive vibes coming your way. In other news, Revolution Pro Wrestling announced a TV deal with Free Sports over in the UK. We will talk more about that with Akil, the heel, on our next This Month in BritRes podcast, which will be in a few weeks. Jericho has announced a Travel Channel show that he's going to be doing. This is fantastic. This is going to be on the Travel Channel, and it has nothing to do with travel. He's going to be going into the swamps, into the bayou in New Orleans, Louisiana, and looking for swamp monsters. As Jericho's a bit of a paranormal buff, so this is basically hunting for Yeti or searching for Bigfoot, but with Chris Jericho in the New Orleans and Louisiana swamps. What an incredible concept! I'm really looking forward to that. Looking more at wrestling though, this weekend, aside from All In, there is also an Expo Lucha, which is taking place. That they're actually going to be live streaming events for free on luchacentral.com. So head to luchacentral.com if you want to wash the taste of AAA out of your mouth and watch some different lucha, some indie lucha. Head to luchacentral.com and check out the live streams. That's Friday, August 31st and Saturday, September 1st. Our time, it will be Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So definitely check those out. The Sunday morning stuff is opposite All In, but if you can't watch All In live, you can always spend the day in bed, watch some lucha, and then when it comes up on NJPW World, you can watch All In then as well. Avoid the spoilers by not doing anything else other than watching lucha. Watch lucha, watch All In. It's going to be a really good weekend. I'm pretty sure that Rey Mysterio is actually at one of these Expo Lucha. So that Expo Lucha is happening in Las Vegas, and that's the date that Rey Mysterio, Phoenix, and Pentagon are at before they go to All In the next night. So if you want to get your Rey Mysterio, Pentagon, and Phoenix fix before they head to All In, you want to watch that on our time, Saturday morning, American time, Friday night. And that's at luchacentral.com. Now, the last thing I want to talk about this week is Izzy, Bayley fan. So the Bayley Superfan Izzy, we all know her from NXT. She's the Bayley Superfan, right? She has taken a break from being front row at NXT all the time, and she's been training. She's, I think, 12 years old, from what I've read. She's 12 years old, and she's been training to be a pro wrestler. Good for her. Follow your dreams, kid. This is amazing. She had her first match in a promotion I've never heard of called Punk Pro Wrestling. Pretty cool, Punk Pro Wrestling. And she challenged Effie for the Internet Championship. Now, Effie I am familiar with a little from his work in Fest. I've seen a few things in Fest on Power Slam Network, so I'm not entirely unfamiliar with Effie. Pretty cool that she had her first match. She's only 12. She took a choke slam during the match, and ultimately she won the match and won the championship. And a whole host of people have come out against this. Lindsay Dorado came out against it. Chelsea Green came out against it. And their problem doesn't seem to be with a 12-year-old girl beating Effie, although that seems like some people on Twitter have that problem. The debate seems to be about whether it's ethical for a 12-year-old to be taking bumps, to which I just have to respond. I mean, Rey Mysterio was wrestling when he was 14. In Japan, the Joshi promotions quite often have girls wrestling at 13 and 14, becoming champions at 16. It's not unheard of to have teenagers wrestle. I've seen some in Japan wrestle as young as 9. It's not that crazy. It's not that far-fetched. It's really not. And, I mean, you can say what you will about her beating a grown man. Wrestling isn't wrestling. That's the thing I always come back to, is wrestling isn't wrestling. You know what wrestling is? Wrestling is love, man. Wrestling is love. We all find this thing that is on the outskirts, it's on the fringes. We're all a little bit of outsiders. If you're attracted to pro wrestling, you're probably somewhat of an outsider in some way. Even if it's just in the way that you're attracted to pro wrestling. Not a lot of people are, right? Pro wrestling attracts outsiders. It's a thing that outsiders gather, and they're like, hey, I feel like a bit of an outcast. We talked about this with Dowie James on the Aussie Graps episode. And you approach wrestling and you're like, look, I'm a bit of an outsider. And then to be made to feel like an outsider within that is kind of weird. It's really odd that people, when you find this thing that's so beautiful, it's like, hey, everyone can belong here because we are all in love with this thing. And then to have people be like, yeah, but the thing you love is weird because it means that little girls are able to beat grown men. Grow up. Grow up. How is that any weirder than the figure 4 leg lock? The figure 4 leg lock hurts the person who's applying it more than it hurts the person who's taking it. Seriously, wrestling isn't wrestling. Grow the hell up. It just gets to me. I understand both sides of it. And protecting the business and having it be like a sport, yes, there is a place for that, right? Like, I would not want to see this match take place in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I wouldn't. Right? And I think there's plenty of room within wrestling as a bigger thing. There's plenty of room for the sport and for the crazy, wacky, weird, and wonderful, right? You can have, like, Evolve started out really sports-focused, you can have Evolve and still right around the corner have Lucha Underground. You can have both. I don't understand why we attack one another, why we bring each other down, and why we... I mean, I guess I'm guilty of it sometimes too. We all do it. We all, find those little things. I mean, I'm not a fan of Fala Bar. Anyone who listens to the Impact Zone podcasts know that I don't want Fala Bar on my TV. I just don't enjoy anything to do with Fala Bar, right? And he's on Impact every week. And we all do it. We all find stuff that we don't like and we pick at it and we bring it down. And it's something I need to remind myself of this. I need to put it up above my office space or something to try to remember and keep it in my mind. But we need to be building up the things we love within pro wrestling, not knocking down the things that we don't. I really believe that. I think that if you don't have something nice to say about it, maybe don't say it. Maybe that's the philosophy I should move forward with on the B+. Because at the end of the day, I had a rough week myself this week. I'm going to get personal here. I had a rough week myself this week. And there's a little bit of trash talking or whatever going on, and it just, I don't understand it. That's my thing, is I don't understand. I'm a person who suffers from social anxiety and stuff, and social anxiety and sometimes borderline severe paranoia, right? I guess maybe a little narcissism, thinking something's about me, thinking people are talking, thinking whatever, and so yeah, I have these issues like paranoia and social anxiety and stuff, and wrestling is kind of an escape. And so then when that stuff seeps into wrestling, it can really bum me out. And I'm doing this podcast, I'm doing this, everything I'm doing with the website and what have you, focusing on Aussie wrestling. I'm doing it to get out there. I'm doing it to push myself beyond, to be a better example for my kids, to just sort of really get out there and do it and engage in it, because it is this beautiful thing that is for everyone, that everyone loves. You know, that we all love this thing and we can bond about this thing that we love. And then to find the stupid little pull downs and people, there's always going to be someone looking to pull something down, and I don't want to be a part of that. This is meant to be a positive thing. Wrestling is supposed to be a positive thing, and the beauty of it is, I was having a bad week because of some stuff that was happening in this world, and then some other stuff that was happening in this world really pulled me out of it. Izzy inspired me this week, and Izzy featured as an interview on an album by a guy called Josiah Williams. He's a rapper, a Christian rapper. I'm not a Christian myself, but I really dig his message. He's very inspiring. And Izzy has an interview on his album that he released not long ago. It was a while ago now. And she's talking about, you know, following your dreams and stuff. And then he goes into a song about, you know, about fighting through, about learning from mistakes and about winning and fighting through it. I'm going to play that song for you. I got permission from Josiah Williams. He runs a really cool new channel called Wrestle and Flow, where he raps over wrestling themes. He's done one with the Undisputed Era theme song, and he's done one with the Gorillas of Destiny theme song, and they're both really, really good. I highly recommend checking out Josiah Williams and Wrestle and Flow. I will drop the links in the show notes, of course, so you can check those out. But yeah, I had a really hard week, and the beautiful thing about wrestling is you don't have to look far to be inspired and to be uplifted and to realize that, you know what, fuck that shit. Fight on. Fight on. Always fight on. Yeah, check it out.
What I love about professional wrestling is how good versus evil fights against each other, and how there's a lot of unexpected moments in wrestling. Yeah. I think it's really cool to see someone come back very unexpectedly, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is so cool. That's why I love wrestling so much.
If someone happened to be sitting in front of you right now, like if it was your favorite wrestler or anyone who seems to be having a hard time, maybe they just lost a match, whatever it would be, what would you tell them?
To always stay true to yourself and to never, ever give up.
Yeah.
And to just chase your dreams and really never give up.
It's always in those moments of defeat when they try to grab your attention.
You want it all, don't you?
When they point out how weak you are and try to get you on their side.
You're safer here than any place else.
And then when they're unsuccessful, they get mad and say things that'll belittle your character.
You'll slip up one of these days.
There'll always be moments when you fail, but it's the next moment that defines who you really are. Yeah. I acknowledge when I lose one, I'm motivated to go win again. Back up on my feet in 9 and 10 to show you I work for the guy within. They wanna tell me all their strategies, but I don't know, homie, it depends. Cause God's first in my playbook, and that's the only play I recommend. I put all my anger in back of me and started praying for the people that told me that I wouldn't make it. Now they are no longer attached to me, cause I'm a different kind of athlete. Now I wrestle for the real prize, not the number on the check. The one that said I ain't done breathing even after they brought him to death. I'm in the champion section, ayy. Finally made the connection, ayy. I wish that I started rapping in 99 when they dropped the aggression, ayy. I am a combo of Eddie Guerrero and Nakamura on the stage. They tried to put me in a cage, but I've been too busy just breaking the chains. 107 in the songs, boy. Got a story, I'ma tell it. I just cook it in the song, boy. Come and tell me if you smell it. I've been defeated, I gave it a moment and then I proceeded to point out the problem and never repeat it. Now I know the power that's never depleted. God. Yeah, you might have won once, but you ain't know this was a battle. You ain't know this was a battle, but you ain't know this was a battle. Yeah, you might have won once, but you don't wanna keep a score. Cause I'm on the winning side, on the winning side. Oh Lord, my Lord, I'm a comeback boy. I'm a comeback boy. Yeah, come back boy. I'm a comeback. once, but you don't wanna keep a score. Cause I'm on the winning side, on the winning side. Oh Lord, my Lord. For a second I thought I ain't belong. I took a moment for the pause. Got it back together, started working on my flaws. But I ain't seeking your applause. I'm just trying to be a locomotive for the household. Yeah, I know it's for our betterment. Cause I know I don't measure up, so I give glory to the measurement. My God is providing his hands, and it don't matter who the challenger. My God is aware of the plan, even if I ain't got it on the calendar. I'm blessed from my head to my knees. It's something different in my feet. Cause I got a trailblaze, I'm the fireman, 500 degrees. I remember thinking I would never be the guy that walk into the church with a message. Now I see the world is full of aggression. Somebody has to address all the wreckage. First time I was knocked down, second, third time I was blocked out. But I'm in a tag team, so I swapped out. Cause y'all finna know what my God's about. I got blood flowing all in my body. I was living like I was made up of kerosene. Now that God is with me, I'm alive and I'm ready for the fight, that's a guarantee. I've been defeated, I gave it a moment and then I proceeded to point out the problem and never repeat it. Now I know the power that's never depleted. Yeah, you might have won once, but you ain't know this was a battle. You ain't know this was a battle, but you ain't know this was a battle. Yeah, you might have won once, but you don't wanna keep a score. Cause I'm on the winning side, on the winning side. Oh Lord, my Lord, I'm a comeback boy. I'm a comeback boy, yeah. Comeback boy, I'm a comeback boy, yeah. Yeah, you might have won once, but you don't wanna keep a score. Cause I'm on the winning side, on the winning side. Oh Lord, my Lord.